All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We've got a lot of ground to cover in just 10 minutes today, so we're keeping things moving fast. We are going on a highly visual, rapid-fire journey to the bottom of the sea to unpack one of the greatest technological detective stories in modern science. By the time we wrap up, you'll see exactly why the most alien, undiscovered world we know isn't millions of miles away in space. It's right here on Earth, hiding secrets that could completely change marine biology. So the ultimate question: how do you film a monster? For centuries, humanity has wondered how to capture living proof of the ocean's most elusive giants in pitch-black waters. Down in the apathic zone, a crushing, freezing realm completely devoid of sunlight, how do you actually find, let alone film, an animal that has spent millions of years evolving to remain perfectly hidden in the dark? Now, check out this contrast. On one hand, you have the mythical Kraken from the old mariner tales, allegedly 60 feet long, weighing a ton, and dragging entire ships to their doom. But the scientific reality? Still terrifying, but a bit different. The giant squid rarely exceeds a 5-meter mantle length, with females topping out around 275 kilograms. So it's absolutely a formidable, heavily armed predator, just not quite the ship-crushing leviathan of ancient folklore. Section 1. Myths and monsters. To actually separate fact from fiction, scientists first had to rely on whatever scraps of physical evidence the ocean was willing to surrender. For the longest time, our only real glimpses came from hundreds of incomplete, dead specimens. We've got between 624 and a little over 700 recorded specimens globally, but these were mostly just found washed ashore on remote beaches or pretty gruesomely recovered from the stomachs of sperm whales. And because their biology is extremely fragile, the coolest parts, like those massive eyes and insanely long feeding tentacles, are almost always missing or damaged before scientists can even look at them. Just preserving what little physical evidence we did find was a massive undertaking. Take Archie, an 8.62-meter specimen caught back in 2004. Defrosting her alone took 3 grueling days of meticulously hosing down the mantle just to protect the tentacles from rotting. Then came the formal saline injections to stop the decay, before finally displaying her in a custom 9-meter acrylic tank at London's Natural History Museum. But here is the major catch. While Archie is a total marvel of preservation, dead tissue floating in an acrylic tank can never show us the true behavior of a living giant. We can study their anatomy, sure, but a preserved body cannot show us how this incredibly complex creature hunts, how it moves, or how it survives out there in the abyss. We desperately needed to see them alive. Section 2. The Deep Sea Dilemma. Which brings us to the central detective story of our explainer. Why couldn't we just send a submarine down to look for them? Well, standard remotely operated vehicles like the Global Explorer you see here are incredible pieces of machinery, but they have a massive flaw when it comes to observing biology. They rely on blinding bright white lights and incredibly loud, grinding hydraulic thrusters. They're built for mapping and sampling, not for stealth. Think about it. We were essentially driving a loud, brightly lit mechanical spaceship into the twilight zone. If you're a creature that relies on complete darkness to survive, a roaring machine dropping from the sky is terrifying. We were literally scaring away the exact monsters we were trying to find. The technology itself was the barrier. Section 3. The Electronic Jellyfish Lure. Let's see how marine biologist Dr. Edith Witter engineered a brilliant workaround to this massive problem. Her solution was the Medusa. This is a specialized stealth camera system built from the ground up for the deep sea. Instead of using loud ship hydraulics, it gets deployed with a simple 2,000-meter line and runs off a 30-hour battery pack. It's designed to just sink quietly into the abyss, hang there, and wait. The engineering is just so clever. It uses far-red illumination, which is practically invisible to most deep-sea animals. Combine that with completely silent thrusters, and the Medusa becomes an invisible observer, blending right into the darkness, while the surface crew tracks it via a satellite beacon. But stealth alone isn't enough. They still needed bait. And this is where biology meets engineering. They used a natural mechanism called the bioluminescent burglar alarm. When certain deep-sea jellyfish are attacked, they set off a flashing pinwheel of bright light. It's a visual scream for help, meant to attract an even bigger predator to come eat whatever is attacking them. So Dr. Witter's team built this, the E-Jelly. It's an electronic lure that perfectly mimics that exact distressed light display of the Atolowitty jellyfish. It acts as a highly specialized optical illusion, tricking massive predators into thinking there's a free meal waiting nearby in the dark. Section 4.
captured on camera at last. With the stealth tech and the perfect lure ready to go, the decades of frustration were about to end.
630 meters down. That is well over 2,000 feet deep in freezing, crushing pressure. And that is exactly where history was finally made. In 2012, using a baited light system, Dr. Tsunami Kubodera's expedition successfully captured the first ever footage of a live giant squid right off Japan's Ogasawara Islands. You can literally feel the emotion of this achievement in Dr. Kubodera's own words. After a lifetime of looking at mangled, dead specimens, he called it stunning, saying he couldn't have dreamed it would be so beautiful. Bringing this legend into high-resolution reality was a monumental win for science.
And the Medusa proved it wasn't just a fluke. In 2019, it tricked a 10 to 12-foot giant squid right in America's own oceanic backyard. This was a massive deal because it proved this stealth and lure methodology was highly repeatable globally. The deep ocean was finally starting to give up its secrets.
From there, things just kept accelerating. This led to an absolutely astonishing milestone in March of 2025, the first ever living footage of a colossal squid. And poetically, this happened exactly 100 years after the colossal squid was first formally identified by science. A whole century of waiting, finally over. But there was a wild twist. The colossal squid they filmed was just a 30-centimeter, fully transparent juvenile. Contrast that with the adults, which grow up to 7 meters, weigh up to 500 kilograms, and have literal swiveling hooks on their arms. Finding the baby first just goes to show how much of their life cycle is still a total mystery to us. Looking at this timeline, it's incredible how fast things are moving now. From preserving dead specimens in 2004 to capturing live footage of multiple deep-sea leviathans by 2025, technological leaps in stealth and biological mimicry really did condense centuries of myth-busting into just 2 decades. Yet, we can't get complacent. Take a look at this number, 5%. That's all we have explored of our global ocean. 95% of the largest habitat on our planet remains totally unseen by human eyes. It is wild to think we know more about the dark side of the moon than the bottom of our own seas. Dr. Witter hits the nail right on the head here. We spend a tiny fraction on ocean exploration compared to what we pour into space. We look to the stars with limitless funding, while millions of years of evolution and undiscovered ecosystems are literally right here on Earth just waiting for us. So as we continue to shine our invisible red lights and lower our electronic jellyfish deeper into the abyss, it leaves us with one massive, lingering question to wrap up our 10-minute explainer today. What other ancient monsters are waiting in the dark to be found? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and keep your curiosity as vast as the oceans.